Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Podcast Live Stories. I'm your host and sometimes referee who forgot to check his mail and is expecting a package, the friendly neighborhood Zach Stat Pearson. And today I'm joined by one who towers above all others. No, that's not a metaphor. He is the tallest member, one Toki Blackheart. You can go to voice activity, bro, not push to talk.
Wait, am I the tallest one?
You go by Ingling, and I said Toki Blackheart. When has that ever been your nickname?
Never. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, here's what I'm curious about. I want to know where he got that nickname from. That's fucking weird.
Hey guys, I found a way to kickstart my day with a boost of focus and creativity in liquid form. And no, it's not coffee. I started using Magic Mind, the first mental performance shot, and some of its ingredients are nootropics, adaptogens, and matcha, but that's really just for flavor. It's been designed to elevate your energy, decrease stress, and amplify your concentration. However, I mostly use it as a coffee substitute in the morning. Call me old-fashioned. If you are interested in giving it a shot, you can order some from magicmind.com.
Hey, Toki, how did you get that fucking nickname, bro? And also, you're still on push to talk, so if you're talking, we can't hear you.
They're on mute, not push talk.
Oh, well, he's on mute, not push to talk. So come off of mute so we can actually hear you.
He might be AFK.
If this motherfucker fell asleep, I swear to God. Okay, well, I'm going to call him while I'm calling him. Moving on, and also being directly available at your earliest discretion if you pay him, because he is also a very tall model with an accent. A one Lord Ingling.
Hi. You're
Are you coughing?
No, I'm laughing. Your introductions for me always like they sell me on a level that I just never hear myself, praised at. It's
you're
funny.
not the first pretty person / model thing that I've met that doesn't register the fact that no, people weren't saying this just to get in your pants. It's actually true. Don't worry, you're not the first person I've come across with that pretty people dysmorphia. I don't know what the scientific name for pretty people dysmorphia is, but the fact that it exists blows my mind. That shit's actually real. Also joining us, it who needs no introduction, because if you've watched Bleach and you've seen the relationship between Toshido and Rangiku, or, for the older folks, Tom and Jerry, personal thorn to my side, and anal cancer, a one Rangiku the Calliope.
Always happy to annoy.
Well, then why don't you annoy somebody who isn't me then?
I do, quite regularly.
Okay, why don't you know somebody who isn't me when we're recording for YouTube?
Because you're the only person on here that I have a close enough relationship to be able to create this beautiful dynamic.
Yeah, banter is a good thing.
Exactly.
Whose side are you on, Ingling?
I'm always on whoever's side is shit talking you.
See? You said that about me, but it ain't me this time.
I hate both of you more than I hate Ingling's laugh.
It sounds more like a horrible witch when I laugh a lot.
Yes, I specifically said that to you like 2 years ago. Today you will be regaling us with a story, if memory serves, correct, Ingling?
Yes, I have a few. I was trying to decide on...
Oh, tell us what they are and we'll pick. I love that. I love when we do that. What are the younger ones about?
Well, they're really, it's just about how much my first grade teacher tried to ruin my life, and then I ended up getting her to move to Texas. Kinda.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, I vote for that one, but go through the other options.
Yeah, I told you the other option. I've already done it.
Bro, the other people here don't know what they are.
Fuck. Well, you said I already did the coffee one.
Okay, so I guess we doing, you got a teacher to fucking move to Texas. Holy shit. I don't know if I should be proud or disturbed right now.
I mean, let me think if I can think of another one so you actually have a choice, but I know I have more.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the one you got loaded in your head, we can go with that, because either way, I kind of want to hear that. That is fucking
I can also
epic.
tell you a few, since it's a short thing, I can also tell you a few stories about my grandfather who was a real stinker in a funny way.
Oh, so not like the racist grandma who no one likes?
Speaker.
No, yeah, not like her.
Yeah, that was oh my fucking god. And like, you just keep the corpse sitting up on the fucking like front fireplace or some shit. Like, just throw her out in a toilet or something. Seriously.
She's gone, dude. I mean, I don't know where it is now, but...
Bro, somebody made that motherfucker disappear.
I feel like I've missed something.
Oh yeah, so our first year of doing this, the fourth or fifth story, England went to Germany, I believe it was, but he couldn't go alone because, you know, that's how those discounted trips work. Everybody bailed, so he got stuck with his racist ass grandma he didn't want to take. And I shit you not, before he got off the bus, she saw a black dude out the window when they're driving to like the hotel or something. She goes,
"You're quoting it wrong. I can fix it though."
Oh, but go ahead.
So I went on a trip to so my grandmother was a travel agent, and she
I'm gonna find that episode and give it to Rangiku, but keep talking.
Yeah, you can listen to it in full. There's a lot going on in that one. And she did. I didn't mention the story with the boobs, right? In that. No, you did not. Germany,
I'm mad you didn't. Now
I got a lot of stories over there. I just forget them on the spot. You know, then I remember.
Now you see why this show
exists. There's a statue in Germany that you're supposed to touch the boobs of, and you know, it was very funny. It's kind of stupid, but anyway, so let me get back to this. So my grandmother was a travel agent. I always really wanted to visit Germany, and so she tried to set up something. It was cool, but it also kind of sucked because I'm a really like big history guy, and a tour is just for people that don't know anything about a country and want like a fucking sampler of what it's like to be there. That's handpicked. And I like to explore and go hiking, and you know, I didn't want to have to stick to their choice of where I could go. She looked out the window and saw a couple, a man and a woman that were both black, and she said on the bus, they were outside, they weren't with our group or anything, but she just said, "I didn't know they had blanks here too."
Oh, I didn't know they had niggers here too.
Starts with an N.
Yes, no. I can say it. I didn't know they had niggers here too, and it was so natural. It wasn't like a ew. I didn't know they had niggers here. It was literally, oh, they have niggers here.
No, it was the grossed out one.
Oh, well, I mean, I've already said fuck her. I'm glad she did. So
she wasn't as bad as her brother, though. Amazingly, he's a fucking asshole. I hate that guy. He's gone too, though. So
England has one of the most interesting family dynamics.
1 second, I was doing something else at the same time.
You would say that right when I unpause
it. I made coffee because you were talking about a coffee story earlier, and I just need you guys to know that.
Oh, do you need to leave? So should I not talk until you come back?
No, okay. I already made coffee. I made coffee while we were talking earlier.
I ordered a sushi burrito. Apparently, sushi burritos are a thing that are getting popular.
They are, yes.
They're delicious too.
But
Honestly, it's just sushi, but like the size of a burrito.
Oh, okay, that's less cursed.
And you can even get rice taken out of it, so it's basically just food and seaweed.
It just sounds like a poke bowl, but in a burrito, right?
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
But I don't have to have rice in it, so that's why I like it. But yes, tell the fucking story, please. Start the story.
Sushi, god damn it.
Start the fucking story.
Okay, so, all right, where do I start? Let's start with, well, in the beginning, God created the, no, I'm just kidding.
First grade, goddammit.
That was where you were gonna fucking go. You're wonderful.
I'm making sure you two never learn who each other is.
So anyway, so yeah, okay. I'm a twin brother. Let's start the story there. That's the best place to start.
No. Don't fool people like you did last time. He is not an identical twin.
Not identical. People should never assume twins are identical unless
everyone should assume that. Just
because
don't say
they're
you're a
almost
twin.
never identical.
Stop saying you're a twin. Everyone assumes that, and it's a letdown when it's not the case.
I actually know that, yeah.
Stop
so let
doing
me
it.
Do that though. My cousins are twins.
Wow, I could do an entire video about how much I hate how people think about twins.
And it's your own goddamn
and
fault.
the stereotypes they have about twins. I could
Oh my God,
honestly
you're
write a
big
book.
twin.
That one's
Ferg?
not your fault.
I could write a book about it because I do actually have. I think every twin on Earth has a deep-seated hatred of people who are not twins, assuming things about them and bothering them about it. But that's a whole nother video topic.
Yeah, get into the story.
So let's start with the fact that I am a fraternal twin, and that means I can never have a class with my brother because they do not like putting twins together in a classroom, even if they're non-identical, because they think they get up to trouble. And they're kind of right.
That seems accurate. Yeah.
So, unless the parents specifically request something, they very rarely actually have them together. So, does that make sense? So, my brother and I went to there were only 2 kindergarten classes. We went to different ones. So, he went to one, I went to the other. And first grade was the same thing. He got to go with the teacher that had been teaching there 40 years and was basically part of the building at that point, you know. A beloved icon. My sister took the same teachers as him, so she did that first grade teacher as well, and that teacher let my father sing The Clash in school, Police and Thieves in the Street, as her show and tell. So that teacher was super chill. She drove a Thunderbird, and she was like 80.
Oh, nice.
So she's pretty cool. But I got the one that was not cool. You know, the one that this story is about. So in first grade, I was a very a misunderstood person, a very angry person, without going too personal, because I don't want to overshare personal features to an extreme in a nice happy life stories. But you know, I've been through the brutal life experience of being misdiagnosed with thing after thing, and they basically just play a game of let's throw pills in it and see what
Yes,
fixes
you're
the
male
problem.
Robin. I'm very much aware of this.
So they threw some pills in me and assumed that, you know, it was one thing and another thing. I've had a seizure because of it. Not great. Some medicine doesn't react well for people that don't have the things the medicine is made for. But
Man, we were talking about that yesterday.
That's a very dark
Yes, I know.
topic.
I wasn't joking. He's the male version of you. Less gothic though.
This is horrifying for Zach and amazing for us, I feel.
No, this
Yeah,
is
I
amazing
think
for me
it's fun.
because I don't mind that you two get along. I just mind it if you get along fucking against me. But yes, I realized almost 3 years. Ooh, don't do that. I realized almost 3 years ago. Holy shit, you two are almost the exact same fucking person.
But anyway, let's go back to the main topic. So with that in mind, this teacher, who I don't mind using the name of, but I'm trying not to use their
there's no
name.
rules against it, especially if they're an asshole.
All right, hey Mrs. Wren, you're a bitch, and I'm glad you moved away. I hope the fire ants that George Bush was afraid of destroying his reactor ate your fucking house. All right, have I
That is
covered
a very
that already?
weird insult.
Or his collider, you know. He wanted to build it there. But, okay. So, Mrs. Wren decided that I was a bad kid. To be fair, I had some anger problems, probably because I was misunderstood. I used to bite when I was pushed into a fight. I had kind of a rival in first grade. And back to the cat, which is relevant to the story. I'd bring it in, and I'd even make fake money, like out of cardboard. And I'd color the money, and I'd make comic books of the cat, and I'd hand them out to students in the class. So there were probably around maybe 80 issues of them made, because I numbered them. But at some point, I started just putting cool numbers on there that weren't actually the actual numbers. So I think I only did up to about maybe 60 before I started picking fun numbers.
Focus.
You know, I'm just giving an environment around the what it was like to be in that class, because otherwise you just get the one snippet. So so I was playing the Game Boy. Game Boy was a new thing at the time. This is the story, by the way. And I brought that Game Boy into class. And the teacher was up there in the, we had a loft in the classroom behind where we sat, and there were books up there. And I was supposed to be reading one of those books, but those were boring. Didn't interest me. So I was playing on my Game Boy, and she goes up to the loft, rips it out of my hand, the way she did a lot of things that I was playing with. And and then I grab it back from her and yell, "My dad's gonna blow your head off with a tank." And then I ran out of the school. Yep. And then I ran out of the school after grabbing it out of her hands. And I took a scooter, which was next to the school, and just started going. I just started pushing my legs and heading back home the way I came. And the janitor, Mr. Vega, who was quite cool, actually ran out off school grounds, grabbed me in the scooter, and dragged me back to the school. So that's one of my stories. And she hated me so much that when she... I've got another thing. And they asked me what my favorite food was in class. Now, every kid, is early 2000s, every child is saying, "I like pizza. I like pizza. I like pizza." Oh, wow, it's so unique. I like puttanesca. And the thing is about puttanesca is I told them the origin of puttanesca. Now, if you know the word puttanesca, you would happen to know that the first word in puttanesca is putta, from the, in this case, Italian puttana, but most people are probably more familiar with...
the dessert.
No. Most people are probably more familiar with puta, which means prostitute.
It's a dessert. Also in the Philippines. It's called puta.
It's not puta, it's puto. And I have a story about that.
Yeah. So anyway, the origin of the food, supposedly, this is sort of the folk etymology of it, is that a man would want to hire a woman, and in Italy, when you'd hire one of these women, they would cook for you, not just sleep with you. So the dish was designed to be a dish that could be made quickly by the woman so that the man could eat with her and then they could retire for the evening. And I explained that to the entire first grade classroom.
I love this so much.
I explained it, though, a little cruder than I am on Voice Stories, funny enough. I said that the man and the woman were going to sleep together, and the man wasn't really that hungry. So she had to cook quickly so he could eat, and they could get to the sleeping.
Remarkable.
So
this is how I know you had low parental supervision.
My father told me the origin of that sauce.
So if you read or watched Series of Unfortunate Events, that was my introduction of it.
I don't know.
That was a thing.
But I'm also very curious about Googling that.
But I don't know if it's out then. Maybe the book was out then. But anyway,
that's fair.
But yeah, I don't remember it in the film. But anyway, that's why I explained it. I really love the dish. And that's another one of my crazy stories from fourth grade. Middle of the way through the school year, she actually moves away to Texas, and the sort of like sub-in teacher that was like learning from her kind of takes over out of nowhere. She was nice. She was cool. But Miss Wren, I think, in her official complaint, wrote that I was part of the reason she wanted to leave, but also she wanted to leave anyway. But also, my father went in one day to meet with her, like a parent-teacher meeting, and she actually told him to his face that she didn't like me. And thought I was
Why is she a teacher? Or why was she a teacher? Like, what?
And then I think he called her an old crone.
Are you familiar with the concept of tenure?
I don't know how old she was. I think she was like 40.
No, not you. Talking Rangiku. Are you familiar with the concept of tenure?
Tinder?
I mean, yes, but there are still...
I did not say Tinder. You said that on purpose.
Well, I'm definitely swiping whichever way is not the good way on that one. I don't remember if it's left or right, but I'm left.
Anyways,
I'm swiping left.
yes, I'm familiar with tenure.
Okay, well, here's the scary thing about unions. Don't get me wrong. Before anyone makes any type of assumption, I do respect unions, but like any organization, I only respect them when they acknowledge and they fix any forms of corruption. I don't mind law enforcement. I have a problem with, Chicago's law enforcement for every single reason you can possibly imagine. That doesn't mean I think every single individual person is a piece of shit. Unions can create, and in most cases have created, situations where, unfortunately, teachers that are meant to do good, unfortunately benefit, and they boost up pieces of shit douchebag like Engling mentioned, because the unions created a system where even if you're not a tenured teacher or in a high profile college, you can be treated as such based on union guidelines that can be altered and changed to benefit pieces of shit, especially if a piece of shit complains to the union, but they look innocent to the union and the organization looks like a piece of shit that they are, technically competing against. So theoretically, you literally can be the worst teacher ever, but you can never lose a job, even if you're fucking racist, because of how things work. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go open the door for my sushi burrito. All right, I'm coming.
That's a weird way of saying he has to go to the bathroom.
Oh, what year did you say?
What year did I say what?
The Puttanesca.
Well, I was in first grade, and I was born in '96, so it was.
You were in first grade?
I was in first grade, and it was 9.
Okay, so probably like 02 then. Depending on part of the year, it was probably like 02, because that puts you a year younger than me. So it was, the movie was not out yet. Okay.
Yeah, it was 02. That's right, because it was the first half of the year. 02.
Yeah, okay. So it was not out yet. Because the Lemony Snicket's movie was 04.
Yep, that sounds right. I don't remember it in the movie, so we should probably say that on the thing, because I don't want to sound like I took it from the film.
I specifically only remember it from the movie because I have not actually... Wait, no, I did read the books at some point.
I'm back.
Or I started to.
Well, my father cooked puttanesca quite a lot, so that's why I was familiar with it. But yes, we did confirm, or Calliope Rangiku confirmed that the movie was not out when I was in first grade, so I did not know the information from the film.
Also, slight correction, Calliope.
Snickets, right?
I very specifically hate Calliope. No, you're good.
Good to know. Don't worry, that's fine. Everyone messes up my name.
I 100% believe that.
Oh, hey, Engling.
Yes.
I don't know if I ever told you this. Actually, I'm not even sure who all on the server knows it.
Did you hear my joke about your burrito?
No, but so
did you want to hear my joke about your burrito?
No, because
no, leave him in the dark. He'll hear it later when he's editing.
That's right. That's right.
Yet another reason why I don't want to leave you two the fuck alone with each other. Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay, so fucking I don't know if I mentioned it to you specifically, Engling, but everyone, my entire life, all my years, literally everyone spells my name wrong the exact same way, and no.
Do they always spell it Zach?
No, my actual name, and they always they always spell it. And when I ask them, they don't know why the fuck they did it, and it still blows my mind that they get it all wrong the exact same way. I'm not hiding my name, but it just blows my mind. It's always 2 L's but 1 T. And just like that, everyone now knows what the fuck my first name is. It wasn't a secret for the record. But that just blows my mind.
Walter,
they
always
spell it wrong. What the fuck you just say? No, what did you just say?
Nothing.
No, motherfucker. English,
You're
what did you say?
Right?
On editing, bro.
Am I totally wrong? Is it not Walter?
Who you know has Walter with 2 L's?
You.
I thought that was what you were saying was how it was misspelled.
Okay, well, There's only one other name you can figure out where people usually spell it with 2 L's and 1 T. But that is my middle name. My middle name is Walter.
It was right. It was right.
No, it's not. But there's only one other name.
It was so right.
No, go ahead and guess it. There's only
The
one
fact that
other
it was
name.
part of your name is just really funny that you know, it was wrong, but it was also part of your name correctly, just shot out of the dark.
No.
It's just amazing.
No, my middle name is Walter, but there's 1 L. But there's only one name, apparently besides the one that jackass came up with, where there's going to be assumed 2 L's and 1 T, and you already know what it is. Damn, this is good.
But now I'm on the spot, which means I'm blanking.
Why the fuck does that always happen? Okay, fine, skip it.
It happens to people, you know?
Okay, fine, skip it. Is there another story?
Yeah, I can tell you some short stories about my family and school and how we've pranked schools.
I actually do love your family stories.
So with that out of the way, okay, so my grandfather, the one born in, well, they were both born in 1924. My father's father. I should give them fake names so that,
For
fuck
what?
it. I mean, don't even care.
No!
All right. Lewis, my father's father, is from Maryland. It's not spelled the way you think it is. Anyway, another name with an L in it. I know.
Fuck you for
Spooky. It's spelled with 2 L's like a Welsh name and a T. Luelter. Beautiful name. Anyway. No, I'm kidding. It's not spelled that way. But yeah, so he's from Maryland. My family goes back several hundred years in Maryland. We were fishermen on an island, so no shady businesses. That's good. Whenever I mention family goes back a few hundred years south of the Mason-Dixon line, I just want to clarify, fishing. Because there's some sus families down there. Some evil fuckers. But nope, we were poor as shit. One of the poorest jobs you could have during the Great Depression in Maryland was fishing, because everybody who had a boat tried to fish, and it was overfished, and all the fishing was worth no money. So at least it put food on the table, which meant crab claw meat. So the people, when they eat crab, the thing about crab meat is they prefer the lumpy pieces of crab, which is called lump meat. And that's what you want in a crab cake. So when you get a crab cake, you want those big pieces of meat in there. If you don't have the big pieces of meat in there, I bet you're getting charged premium prices for a crab cake that's not up to the standards.
Rangiku, do not repeat the next 10 things that you're thinking of.
About crabs?
Hey, look.
Oh, that made it worse.
I was not joking. I also grew up in Maryland. Now I'm just really fucking craving crab.
I'm sorry, I love crab too. I wish I had some. So with Maryland crab in mind, my family was in the crab fishing industry. So the way you make a living in the crab fishing industry, which I could go on about for hours. We're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it simple. You fish crabs when they're in season, and oysters when the crabs are not in season. So oysters are your winter staple, and crabs are your early spring and late summer staple to make your living. So my grandfather had a boat, and he was in Annapolis. And if you know anything interesting about Annapolis, you would know, if you know military stuff, you'd know that the Naval Academy is in Annapolis. Mm-hmm. Now, at the time when he was a young man, my grandfather, Lewis, and his cousin, Donald, liked to pull pranks on people. And my grandfather had a little boat called Titty Mutsy, and you would know that the Navy. Yep, you heard it. It's a goofy name. Titty Mutsy. That was the name of their boat.
I love it.
And it was my grandfather's boat, but they were both on it all the time.
We're already at our first what the fuck moment. That's got to be a record.
So the Navy guys would always take girls out on dates in their fancy, white, fancy schmancy dress uniforms. And my grandfather thought it was funnier than hell that when they got on their boat, they were getting on their boat with their girls, to come up alongside their boat with Titty Mutzi, and because of the way the boat would break on the wake of the water, splash the living shit out of them in their dress uniforms, soaking these Navy guys head to toe in front of their dates.
I feel like your family just has a history of like defiance disorder.
We do. They did not like that. So what they would do is they'd get in the boat next to them on the dock, and they would try to run down my grandfather. But this is where the fun began. He would intentionally steer them and bring them close to shore so that the Navy guys would run aground in the Annapolis harbor. And then he would fucking leave. Because Titty Mutzi was a small boat, he'd take the rudder out and then he'd pull out these paddles with his cousin and they'd paddle it away.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
And the guys would get, you can imagine someone at the Naval Academy hearing that the local boys, the local teenagers made you run aground a piece of naval equipment. Oh, man.
Hold on.
Absolutely fucking beautiful.
Hold on a second. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Token Podcast Live Stories do not necessarily reflect the views of Zax. Zax would like to keep his channel because there are about 6 or 7 people who will have their foot up my ass collectively if this shit gets completely and totally banned for any reason. Thank you for your time. Okay, go back to the story.
If you need to censor anything, you can get rid of it. So I'm going to tell another story about how Lewis was a stinker. So one of the things my family did, which was something that's very common in rural areas, people don't really know about it in cities, is they were volunteer firemen. So that means their job is not to be a fireman, but if there's a fire, they get ready and they get the gear and they have a routine and they go deal with it. Because a lot of small towns couldn't afford to pay someone to be a fireman, but obviously firemen are a very, very necessary job.
Wait, hold on. Is that really only a small town thing?
Yeah, they don't do it in cities for the most part.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's how you know. Yeah. So my grandfather was a volunteer fireman because his family were volunteer firemen and when he was a teenager. And so he used to intentionally start fires in the schoolyard by putting cigarettes and cigarette ash underneath leaves, dried leaves in the schoolyard so that a fire would start. And then because a fire had started in the schoolyard and he was a volunteer fireman, he just got to leave school, go put it out and go home to deal with the procedures around it. So him and his cousin would just start fires casually at school.
Are you sure there are no murderers in your family?
There's none to my knowledge, but I mean...
To your knowledge.
Yeah, sure. So it's not like I've got, yours where you've got that spooky grandparent thing going on.
Oh yeah, I guess I should go into that because technically, you're the only one who technically knows how far back I go. All right, so unfortunately or fortunately, depends on relativity, I guess, or if you're an asshole. I don't know how this shakes out. My knowledge of family history maternally goes back to the literal boat we came off of. So we actually are one of the few of the 6,500, maybe a little bit less, that know the plantation from whence they derived. Well, moving on, because both of you have gone into derailing to the point of you don't remember what the fuck the original story was. I got one, and yes, it's short because I don't even know how to title this episode at this point. Okay.
I'm silly.
So, yeah, let's go with that.
Goofy little guys.
So, let's shut up. So, let's keep this with the whole theme of school and for some reason fire. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever found out in my life. So, everyone knows that when a school is bad, it's 50-50 if it will actually cease to exist. If there's people in the area and it's public, 9 times out of 10, it's going to live. Same with private if they can keep talking people into coming. So, here's the thing. Bogan High School, on record as being one of the worst high schools in Illinois. Not dangerous, worst, as in education-wise, scholastically.
Dangerous for your mentality.
Dangerous for your IQ level. So,
well, that's not really.
They didn't actually have cameras installed in the hallways. I know what you're thinking. it's their own damn fault. And you were right. They had them at entrances and exits, not in the hallways.
Your school had cameras?
Anyways,
What?
so one particular year, notices were going out to the children's parents, and on top of that, notices were being sent out, and it was becoming a bit of a public knowledge that the school was overcrowded and the principal did it on purpose. The public school system didn't do it on purpose. The principal did it on purpose, right? So, if someone does something in a hallway, it's a little hard to pin it on somebody, right? Now,
Oh, so you're saying two people had like one kid, but well, they had two kids, but like two different dads in a hallway without a camera, right? Is that where this is going?
I don't want to think about where you're trying to go to the point where I might erase that statement from the final edit. Anyways, so what ends up happening is the fire alarm gets pulled one day. It's Monday. We leave the school. We think it's a test because that school has almost never been on fire. The last time Bogans as a high school was actually on fire, I don't believe ever in its history of it being a high school. So, Tuesday, someone pulls the fire alarm. Wednesday, no one pulls it. Thursday and Friday, someone pulled the fire alarm. Now, for those who don't remember, false fire alarm pulls are a 4-figure fine, right? In 1 year, that shit had got pulled so many times that Bogan as a high school sent out a notice and they put it on the APB system during class that y'all need to stop doing that, whoever is doing it, because if you don't, you are literally going to get this school canceled or shut down for upwards of 2 to 3 months. And someone thought this was a good idea to tell people.
Yikes.
Right? So, I let my mom and dad know that this shit's going down. Right? And I tell them, hey, listen, I know I have a key to the house, but I don't remember where it is. Can I get a new one? Because I might get sent home and I didn't even do anything. I was like, why would you get sent home? Then I told her everything I told y'all. She didn't believe me, right? But then my dad goes and gets the mail from the mail slot. And it's from Bogan, and it says it right there in plain old English, right? So then I get a new key. Now, like any good kid, I did not get in trouble with this key. That can be detected. So, my window faces the back alley, right? So, I told my friends, hey, what kids are the easiest and coolest to hang out with to sneak out at night? They don't have to go to Bogan. Like, I want to experience going outside alone at night. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's boring as shit. Yeah, well, not for a fucking, like, 15-year-old or something. You know? Outside, unsupervised. I don't want to break shit. I don't want to get in trouble. But I also don't want, police officers or truant, whatever the fuck they are, giving my parents a fine or arresting me just for not being outside after 9 p.m. Right? So I get linked up. And this is when social media was kind of new, via Yahoo Messenger. The original place children went to talk to each other and possibly meet people who aren't kids who want to do terrible things to us. And there's a Bogan crew. It's not called the Bogan crew. We get to talking. We plan shit. Basically, somebody's parent owns a business and it primarily operates on an airport between like 9 p.m. and like 4 a.m. or their shift is like 9 p.m. going into like early in the morning, right? So we all hanging and chilling. That her big brother didn't tell. He said, hey, if anybody has drinks, I'm beating your ass and I'm throwing you out. Like, he didn't even give a fuck. To be fair though, he wasn't grown either. He was like 17, but he was big. Like, not fat. I mean, he looked like a grown ass man. This is the people that...
Oh, he was big. He was like Tom Hanks big. Like, he made a wish with a Zoltar machine and...
Shut up. So, I'm there.
I know, I'm dumb.
I'm chilling. I'm having fun. I'm cooling. We all enjoying ourselves. And then I learned a terrible, terrible thing that to this day has never left my side. I learned that there is I don't want to say a large following. It's more like there are some crouching tiger, hidden white women who have a particular fetish without having seen any form of interracial porn. I don't know how they come into existence. I don't question it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have to interact with it. I.e., I don't really have to care. I don't hold it against nobody. My family's been mixed race for over 200 years. We was mixing literally when the shit was illegal to do. I just don't care. However, when someone started asking me about my dad because they assumed I spoke Spanish, as we've discussed numerous times, a lot of people, especially my friend group, assumed my dad was Mexican or some type of Colombian, Puerto Rican, just something South American because of his appearance. I might try to find a picture, send it both to you. I'm not putting it in the fucking video. And I would tell them, no, I don't speak any Spanish. It's like, oh, well, why does your dad look that way? And I was like, Malcolm, I told you already, he's a fucking Creole. I was like, why do you think I know what that means? I was like, mind you, Google doesn't exist at this point. Or either it does, but it's not super popular. So I was like, look, this is what a Creole is. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Louisiana Purchase, da-da-da-da-da. Mixed race people who don't have a direct designation for their ethnicity gave themselves one essentially or some shit. I don't really know. The term itself wasn't born in North America, but we use it the way it was meant to be used. So
no, you don't.
I'll take your word for it. No tangents right now, because your tangents turn into half an hour trilogies.
It's pretty short. Creole originally meant white. It meant pure white people in the Spanish colonies. Criollo, it's the Spanish word, or criollo. It probably isn't pronounced with two L's.
It also shows up in a completely different country and origin, not connected to Spain. Like I said,
yes, it is. Louisiana was owned by
French
Spain.
Creole, probably from Portuguese Criollo, black person born in Brazil.
Exactly.
That's not what it meant in Spanish.
That's what I'm saying. It meant different things in different languages.
Nope. Look up the Costa system. That's what the name is.
I know this was going to turn into a tangent.
I'm a history major. I should know this, so
Actually,
I'm telling you.
You know what? That is why it was going to turn into a tangent. I forgot you're a history major. I thought you were a history addict. Okay.
No, yeah, cut it out for sure. No. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of words in English that are deceptively from there.
Yes, I'm aware of the concept of etymology. Moving on before you make another
change them.
Moving on. So, I explained to them that, essentially, it's a term heavily associated with mixed race people from around the Louisiana Purchase era, because not everybody who after it was purchased from Napoleon or whoever left the area. Some people stayed, so they got the mixing. So that's kind of why that term is associated, at least in North America, with people from a very specific origin. Now, moving on, and they're like, oh, cool. So then some random white girl, I don't know who it was, there's like 20 of us there. So you speak some French? And she starts smiling. I was like, I mean, I'm Frelish or broken French on a good day. I speak it better and it sounds cooler than fucking when Canadians try it. But, honestly, I'm not fluent and I'm not going to pretend I am. I was like, the Canadians speak French? Well, yeah, it's for them, French is like Spanish for us. It's like the secondary language, and Quebec is like almost primarily the primary language is French, even though, it's not owned by France anymore. I was like, oh, cool. And then I go back to, I don't know, I was playing something, I think Soul Calibur 2 had just come out, and everybody lost their mind because Link was in the game. So we was like trying to fucking take turns playing that shit back when you can play with more than 2 people. Because Soul Calibur 2 specifically had a 5-player mode or something like that. So I start talking and my friends start talking, and we discuss family origins and shit. Because, well, like I stated, I don't know if you know this, but I guess barring us specifically, you and me, England, a lot of people don't know their own fucking family history that are Caucasian in this nation, and they don't actually think to even ask or even try to investigate it. However, this is like a few months before we crack the human genome. Like, we literally, like, months before that shit happens. So we don't even have the ability to just pay money to go and learn what you are yet, really. Or at least not do it for cheap.
Oh, it's still complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll not do it for cheap and fast, So that hasn't happened yet. And then I didn't know, because again, my ass is watching this big ass TV. By the way, CRT TV. That TV is as big as Rangiku. Mind you, she's short, that TV was big. So we're using that. We're hooking all types of stuff into it. The oldest dude, Malcolm's big brother, who's like watching us essentially. I think his name is Rashad. Rashad is trying to hook everything up to a sound system because he knows that the neighbors aren't going to snitch as long as the noise is coming from the basement and the windows are closed. And I was like, man, this dude, I feel like he's done this before. And I realized the line for Soul Calibur is a little too long, so I started playing Uno. Not realizing or caring that the table is full of either white passing or Caucasian women. So I just keep getting like cards passed to me. Are we playing singles, doubles, triples? If you're from Chicago, you know what that means when you fucking with Uno. It should have spread to the whole world by now. So then I was like, this like really big girl. And for the record, I apparently have to say this a lot. Big does not mean fat. It means tall. It can also mean tall. This big girl, like she was already 6 foot, right? It's like, so, what are you mixed with? It's like, well, if you want to be technical, my mother is an African Irish Blackfoot native. So there's that. And I also favor my mother the most, but I have my dad's bone structure. So it's my dad's skeleton on my mom's face, if as weird as that sounds. But my dad, that he is aware of, he is French African, but he does know what that third element was. He's met his grandparents. They were not all African. Maybe 2 of them were. And maybe one day if there's a way to figure that out, I'll get it figured out. Again, this is months or weeks before human genome stuff gets figured out for cheap. And we can do that type of stuff. And then it was like, so you've dated like white girls before? I was like, no. I've only had like 5 dates. This is how you know we talking about babies, X. So
now you've had 6.
You finished?
No. I'll just wait.
I was doing fine.
No.
I was behaving so well.
I'm glad one of you is. So, I go off to the bathroom. I come back. I look at my cards. There are 3 fucking phone numbers on my card. Like, one card has one number and something happened with the other one. It got bent up and it had 2 numbers on it. I don't know what happened there. Still don't. Not gonna ask. So I just look at this and I'm just like, I'm in object frozen mode. I literally just pause. My brain is not thinking. I just know, did 3 girls give me their number? What did I do? And then I just froze. Then it gets back to my turn, right? So we're playing Uno. That means if I call off a number and I say I have that number and I can correspond to that color, I have to put the card down. But it's a Uno card with someone's phone number on it. So I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I just go, I got a wild, I'm gonna make it red, and I'm gonna leave this face down. And then you just hear somebody in the background, man, you can't do that shit. I was like, I don't know who that was, but you're right, but shut the fuck up for right now. Man, you look, I'm playing this game, I'll come over and smoke all y'all Uno. And then I just
as if it's skill,
bro. And then I swear to God, half them white girls turned into some hood motherfuckers for this one sentence, and I was dead ass laughing. I just heard, man, shut your ass up. Yeah, Joseph, punk bitch. I was like, and I just died laughing, and half the room did. Because you gotta understand, these girls are like barely 5 foot. This dude is like 5'8", and they basically just shut this man up in one sentence. It was funny. So I'm just like, and then the tallest one starts leaning on the table and she's like, hey, and she's poking me. By the way, women, I don't like it when you fucking poke me and then say, hey, 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 over and over again. It makes me want to throw you inside of a dumpster and leave you there. So, but this is 15-year-old me. So not only do I not communicate that, this innocent idiot hasn't learned that women will go out of their way not to listen to you if it means they get more attention from you. Don't ask me how that logics. It fucking annoys me. So I don't know this yet. And then it gets back to my turn again. It's like, hey, can you please stop? And I'm just like, I say the same thing again. However, this time it's the bent card. I put it down. And remember, the tallest girl is slumping over on the table. So she starts tilting her head a little bit because the card is bent, laying face down. And she picks it up. She snatches it. And she's like, who is this bitch? It's like, who you calling a bitch? And then the one next to her, how? Because remember, there's 2 numbers on that card. Now, they start going at it. They stand up.
That's pretty high.
You're finished. I pushed my chair back a little bit. It was hard to do. It was on a rug, but it was one of those chairs with no wheels. And I slide under the table because they started having a shouting match. And a shouting match turns to a shoving match. And I'm just like, okay, I think it's time for me to go. Right? And fucking, I see some people ducking out. And I start ducking out. So I'm walking home. I'm cutting through alleys so no one can see me on major streets. Everybody got their own little route figured out because some people are already getting ready to leave. And they want to give themselves like a hot hour or 2 to clean up after everyone's gone so they can make it look like what it used to. This is how smart fucking Rashad and Malcolm are, right? They took a picture of every room in the fucking house on Polaroids an hour beforehand so they can make the rooms look like they used to. And no one was allowed to go upstairs. Smart as shit. I'm walking through the alley to go home. I don't know this. I don't have a personal relationship up, but there was a girl who was walking alongside me. And it was Evelyn's like, yo, what was that about? I was like, so we were playing Uno, but like I went to the bathroom and there were 3 phone numbers on my cards. And then they got angry and then, well, here I am. So then there's this other white girl next to me. I think her name was Jocelyn. I've not seen her in a very long time. I think last time I saw her was 2006 or 5. And this Jocelyn, not to be confused with the other one whom probably is never even going to see this. She was like, ha ha, pussy. For the rest of the story, I'm going to call this Jocelyn Rangiku. So we're walking and then all of a sudden somebody's garage opens up and they're getting ready to fucking leave. But we're walking through because we figure whichever way they go, we'll be out of the alley or we'll lean to the left or the right to give them room to pull out, right? Now, as we're fucking walking through this alley, right? There's a trunk and the trunk is open and the person who hit the trunk button, not the trunk button, the garage button to open up the garage, you hear them go, oh shit, wrong one. It's like, what do you mean? Oh, I hit the back garage. I hit the back wall, not the front wall. Well, can you keep, and then we just hear them talking. Well, can you keep it open and then open the other one? Now you got to close one, not the other. Now we stop dead in our tracks and I'm going to tell you why. Because we see feet sticking out of the back of a trunk, right? It's like 2 a.m., maybe 1 a.m. And we instantly just run over, pull whoever this was out, and then they're just making the whisper sign, don't scream, don't scream. And we just pick her up. We can't get her out of all the fucking duct tape and shit she had on her and handcuffs, but we got enough for her to be able to run. And we basically went to the other side of the fucking block. Then we ran through that block and did a full circle, went back into Malcolm and Rashad's house, came in with her. Everyone lost their minds, got her out, called the police, and then Rashad is sitting there like we're talking to her, asking her what happened. And I'm just like, man, I'm tired as fuck. I still got to go home. And then Rashad's like, why the fuck are you all still here? What's the problem? We called the cops. They're going to see y'all. So then we all booked it. So yeah, we accidentally stopped somebody from getting kidnapped because some idiot hit the wrong button on their own garage door opener. And I talked to Rashad and Malcolm like the next couple days, weeks later. The lady accidentally snitched that there was a giant house party, but they got off scot-free because, well, look what happened. All of our names basically didn't get used. I don't know if they took the credit, but there was a police investigation. Apparently, and this is before I had learned this, or this is when it first started, human trafficking in suburbs is very common. In fact, one of the most common places to get human trafficked in North America is suburbs. So yeah,
Man,
that's how I
shit.
stopped human trafficking. That was fucking crazy. I thought it was just going to be a normal, cool-ass night. Something I might tell my friends, in a few days. Like, hey, I went over to their house, man. That shit was cool. There was no parent. No, we straight up stopped somebody from being trafficked.
It's the better ending.
Oh, and I learned that apparently, depending on who you say it around, you don't care if you date someone of a different ethnicity. There is a small army of Caucasian women who have decided to take that shit as a challenge. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'll explain it to you when Rangiku's gone. You will know once this recording is over. Okay, well, with that being said, Aingling, always a pleasure to have you. Rangiku, something. I will be making sure that, coming to next year, I can get you guys on more often. You won't be on at the same fucking time. But,
That's bad.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, this is my new best friend.
Yes, you two are basically the same person. I've said it 5 times.
I think it's funny whenever you have someone in here that I've never met. Their feature is always that they give you shit, and they always instantly get along with me.
No.
It's just what I've
hope
noticed.
to God, that's not your normal laugh.